Hello, I'm Indy and welcome to part 3 of my Castlevania Simon's Destiny playthrough. We're at the third map. It's called The Bridge. I like to call it the Broken Bridge because that's what the majority of this map is. And funnily enough, I've been replaying the original NES game just to be able to compare the two as good as possible when I'm doing these videos. And I always thought that this section in the original game was like a garden section, a ruined garden section, with this vegetation on the ruins, loads of statues, stuff like that, what you would find in gardens as well. But yeah, after playing this version, this Simon's Destiny version, I actually see what they were going for back in the day. It's actually supposed to be a broken bridge with all kinds of broken ledges and dangerous platforming and stuff like that. And that's exactly what we're gonna get here. Let's get rid of this hunchback or flea man, depending on which Castlevania game you're playing. And here you can also see what I said about the skybox in the last video, that this seems to be like a one hole big hole level. The entire game seems to be one big trek through the castle, because we got the chapel where we were coming from, the nice looking moon in the background, and that's actually Dracula's tower there. That's our ultimate goal of the game, of course. But let's just carefully navigate our way through all these broken sections of the bridge, which is a lot easier to do actually in this version, in Simon's Destiny, than in the original NES game. Because in the original NES game there were a lot of obstacles in your way, which I mean, of course, enemies that were all there to let you drop into the abyss, especially the crows and such, that were all placed in such a way that if you got hit by them you got a knockback, making you drop down. And they're still here. There's one right over there, but they're a lot less annoying and a lot easier to take care of in this game than they are in the original NES game. I think I mentioned it before, these bone pillars, very dangerous in this version. You really need to get rid of them quickly, preferably with a sub-weapon, otherwise they're really difficult to take care of. I also like that they telegraph that there's a Medusa section coming on. Also pretty tricky in the original game, of course, with all these broken bridge platforms. Combine that with Medusas and you're not a happy camper. Okay, let's get rid of this guy. There we go. A lot of use of sub-weapons in this one because of the distance between us and the jumps, but it makes it a lot of fun to play. I think I can reach this one with my whip though. Also, I've mentioned this before as well, but the soundtrack is amazing. It's all remixes of the original game, of course, and I'm gonna shut up for just a minute so you guys can really appreciate this one, because this is one of the better ones. Okay, we're at the Medusa section. Just be careful, you can walk under them, and if you're fast enough you don't really have to worry that much about your environment, and everything will be perfectly fine. There we go. See, we've been playing for a big chunk of this map already. We haven't found a backup chicken just yet though, and yeah, we're getting very close to one though. Another whip upgrade, we don't really need it. There we go, let's just quickly make our way up this tower here. There's a lot of enemies waiting for us upstairs, but the sub-weapons will take care of them rather quickly. Another crow coming our way, but here finally we got a wall chicken. Making me breathe a little bit more easily, because I was getting a little bit worried there. Stopwatch if you like to play around with that one. I like to keep my axes for the most part. Mostly because I think the axes are pretty useful against the bone pillars. It is entirely possible, as in the NES game, to actually destroy their fireballs with your whip, but it's a lot trickier to do than in the original ones. So I like to use my sub-weapons on them. The stopwatch would actually also be a good idea. I think it would work to help you get close and then just destroy them like that, but I prefer the axe way here. And this is an interesting section. We're going inside this tower here, and this section actually is not present in the NES game. The game just ends with the boss fight right after the broken bridge section, and that's actually the most disappointing part of this map for me. The boss fight, we'll get to that soon enough, but the guy who made this did a lot of interesting stuff with the boss fights. You need a red key here. He didn't manage to do that with this one, unfortunately. It's a little bit generic and it's a little bit boring, but we'll get there soon enough. Let's get rid of all these enemies first. Wow, that was an awesome shot. Totally deliberate, because I'm awesome. Okay, let's get rid of that one. Jumping. There we go. This just gets us to another section of the game again. That wasn't present in the original NES version. I think he just decided that that broken bridge section was a little bit short, so this level could have used something extra, and also a little change of scenery, which is pretty cool. I also like that, spoiler alert, the bosses are actually mummies. You can't really see that in this version, but I feel with all this yellowish coloring here, it kinda fits for the mummies, you know. It kinda has like a feeling of a Egyptian pyramid almost. I'm reaching, I know, but that's how it feels like to me a little bit. So maybe that's what he was thinking of as well, to make it a little bit more fitting for the bosses. There we go. And we are getting extremely close to that red key now. I think it's even in this room. On our way here we actually picked up another backup chicken, so we're doing pretty okay on health now as well. It's weird, we got two chickens in pretty close vicinity of each other, while that first part of the bridge, almost the entirety of the bridge part, we didn't get a single chicken at all. It's a bit weird distribution, I think, of the health, but again, a lot of my negatives about this game are really nitpicking, or really nitpicking. There we go. Just a couple of more rooms left and we are where we need to be. There were some enemies up here, like to be sure that I got them all. And I think we're approaching the final hallway till we get to the bosses. Like I said in the original game, twin mummies, they can be a little bit tricky in the original game, because you kind of get sandwiched into them. There's one to the left of you, there's one to the right of you, which makes them particularly dangerous to fight. And they have projectile ammo as well. Pretty tricky stuff, but in this version it's not that hard at all. I think we got another wall chicken here as well. There we go, so we can face the bosses with full health. Yeah, I usually want to have a cross here, a boomerang cross, but I didn't have that, I didn't notice the pickup. Okay. Yeah, that's just it. Not very interesting as far as bosses go. I think the preferred weapon to these bosses actually are the crossbow or the boomerang, depending on how you want to call it. The cross or the boomerang, I mean, not crossbow. That would be pretty funny if we would have a crossbow here. But the axe works just as well. And that's already it for the bridge section. As always, we pick up the orb to end it. And that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, so leave a like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you next time for the 4th map in Castlevania Doom. And we drop down right into the next level. Goodbye.